again, it's a subject.
I know.
So one of the things that we need to clear the air about was I wasn't actually on site.
Right.
Okay. Until after what happened.
Right.
I'm actually normally at the central offices. Okay. So when that happened, the first thing they wanted us to do was get on site and set up a center to start messaging, to start talking and sending stuff out. We did that. We got to see all the ninja stuff. That's why I have issues with some of that stuff.
Right.
We can have a wreck in the area, and you can hear all the sirens and stuff, and instantly I'm going, are we okay?
You're on alert. Yeah.
Did we do something bad? We always have radios on. That type of thing. So, I mean, I guess there's some PTSD associated with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But, anyway, you guys can kind of guess where I work.
And I mean, we kind of put it out there.
Just
inadvertently.
Understand, I don't want to, I'm not representing them at all, ever.
No.
Okay? This is just me talking.
Yeah.
Okay?
And we're not pushing it that way. We're not, we probably shouldn't have brought it up, period, but
I understand. There's a lot of curiosity that goes on with this stuff, and we can talk more about what happened if you really want to talk about it. But the problem I have with that is that we start getting into places where you don't want to talk. It gets nasty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And never mind. I'm not going to talk about my thing.
Yeah.
Because I had a different kind of
Love you too,
similar incident. I already. But anyway, we gotta lighten this shit up.
Yeah, so
let's say some dumb shit.
So going back to the American rifle earlier that you were talking about, AR-AK. What's your thoughts on the accuracy, like the American perception of accuracy versus a comm block perception of accuracy?
So that's interesting.
Different
question.
design.
Well, but there's a misnomer to this.
Right.
And one of them is that your rack grade AR-15 is a 3.0 MOA gun. It just is. If you take a Colt 6920, it's going to hit 3 MOA.
Yep.
Okay, that's what it's guaranteed to do. A Russian rifle has the same accuracy standard pushed upon them.
Right.
Okay. Theirs is actually 4 inches, is what they want.
Actually, it was designed for defending the streets of Stalingrad at a max of 200 yards.
The accuracy standards are different in the Russian mindset. The Russians actually do something called a belt buckle zero. Mm-hmm. So what it is their zero on the 7.62x39 is at 300 meters, and it's designed that if you always put your post on the belt buckle, you're going to hit the target.
Right.
Okay. For the AK-74s or the 5.45, it's 440 meters that works with. Okay.
Which is really not that bad.
No. If you think about what they're doing, they're just accounting for the rainbow, and they're making it so simple that anybody can do it. Where the American mindset is, I'm a rifleman.
Aim small, miss
small, miss small. Where the Russians are on
one.
Yep. A Russian answer is hit them at all costs because it's going to take some time for that person to get taken care of.
Yeah.
That's the different mindset and doctrine there. The simplicity is you also have to look at the American soldier versus a Russian soldier.
Right.
American soldiers are trained for a month on their weapon. Okay. A Russian soldier is given their weapon, they sleep with it, they live with it, they do all that stuff with it.
More like Full Metal Jacket.
But they are giving literally an hour or 2 hours with their rifle on maintenance. Everything else is like, we'll go out, you're going to learn how to use it as a tool, you're going to learn how to shoot it, you're going to live with it and breathe with it, it's with you.
Yeah.
The thing that the Russians do that's really different is every part of the AK is a weapon to them.
Yes.
If you watch like Sonny Bazookas, okay, he'll teach you how you can hook with the magazine and drop the sling over someone and use them as a shield.
Yeah.
That's something that the Russians all were taught how to do. The Russian sights are crude. And what I mean by that is once you adjust them, you leave them alone.
Right.
Okay. There is
you don't dial the elevation on them at all. It's useless. It does not work.
No, you don't mess around with it for that purpose. It was made once you got it. The Russians also didn't mass produce the weapon enough to where you got your rifle, it was always yours. So it's not like the Americans where you go to the gun
Every
cage.
depot, you get a different
and
weapon.
they hand you one, you go zero it and get back to it. The Russian thought process is that's yours. You stick with it everywhere it goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's not a bad firearm by any means. I will never say that. The firearm is not that inaccurate. The cartridge is debatable. It can be.
It's wind prone. But you also have to look at why that is. So you look at the 7.62 by 39.
There's a lot of problems in that. Yeah.
7.62 by 39. The real problem is that it is very wind prone.
Mm-hmm.
Like the wind touches it and
it's
it blows
the shape
it off.
of the bullet.
Okay, but it's also the speed at which it goes.
It's not.
So if you take a 5.56, a 5.56 is going 3,100 feet a second for in XM193. Roughly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very close.
The standard, I think it's 6.97. I'm not sure what it is for sure for the Russian 7.62 by 39. It's 2,300 feet a second with a 122 grain bullet.
Right.
So what happens is, think about just the speed differences alone, and that it's 2.5 times the weight of the bullet that's being sent down range.
But the reason it's that weight is because it does a lot more damage. You can take down a guy with 1 to 3 rounds, whereas with a 5.56, you know a 55 grain. What's the standard? Not the 855. What's the other one?
M855A1 is the new standard, and it's a 62 grain.
Okay, but even with a 62 grain, you can take 7 to 10 shots and only fill 3 of them. So there is that difference between battle rifle and, honestly, most guys in the military, from what I've heard from friends, it's suppressing fire.
Yes.
A lot of it. A ton of it is. So they're not, other than the snipers, the precision shooters, it's not as much of a, I'm taking down this fucking guy right now. The Russians said, oh, no, this guy's getting hit and he's fucking done.
Well, and the Russian mindset was that we're going to fill so many of these people with weapons that you're going to overwhelm them. Sheer mass.
Right.
Sheer mass.
Where
absolutely.
Americans have always been
shock and awe.
Shock and awe. We'll land, we'll move, we'll scoot and shoot.
Yep.
The Russians are, we'll mass and we'll overwhelm you.
Yep.
And that shows in the mindset of the weapon that they're using, and it shows on the American mindset too.
And it worked for a very long time.
And it did.
Plus, we also followed, not NATO.
NATO followed us.
Yeah, NATO followed us. Geneva. That's what I was thinking of.
The Geneva Convention, where the Russians don't.
So, the Russians didn't fucking care. For us, it was, okay, we're going to be, not peaceful, Peacekeepers, yes. We're going to inflict damage, but not too much damage. We didn't use hollow points back then. We didn't, we didn't try to destroy shit. Where the Russians said, fuck you, we're killing everybody.
What was the Germans in World War II or World War I? Please stop using shotguns.
Yeah.
See, the fucking street sweepers back then? Oh, man. The trench guns?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ask Finland how that worked out.
Yeah. But the Finns did take the Russian weapons, so that's why they did so well. They improved them, actually. The Valmet is a very, very nice AK.
They took a good platform and made it amazing. Yep. Which is fucking awesome. Yeah, well, is it hard?
I call them second-tier innovators.
Yes, absolutely.
They come back, they take something, they innovate again, and make something a little
Which
better.
is way easier.
Yes.
But also in the long run, way better. HK didn't start the roller lock.
No. Actually, the roller lock was designed by the Germans to use in the G34 machine guns.
Exactly.
And actually, they had a flapper lock rifle before that.
But HK made it better. They perfected it with the fluted chamber. Jesus,
what actually happened was, which, believe it or not, it wasn't HK, it was Setme that did.
Oh shit, you're right.
Setme actually hired one of the dudes before HK could, and then they licensed it to HK, to Rheinmetall, who then made the HK-G3.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're right. They're second-tier guys, but the Setney L, or not the L, the Setney C was the first 7.62 roller lock.
So, have you ever tried to resize HK brass?
Yes.
It's awful.
You know, it's because they're really hard brass. And what's really funny, though, is I actually reload for my PTRs.
Yeah.
You just have to tumble them a lot longer to get the lines out of them.
Yeah, tumbling works a lot, but once it goes into that resizing die, if you didn't do it right, it just sucks. Because of the lines from the chamber. Like, the way the gas escapes on a roller lock is just...
But a lot of times, I'll tell you this, I don't have, on my PTRs, the flutes aren't as deep. So, I don't have that lining of them to where you can actually see the brass expanding into the flutes as much as you're talking about.
So, you want to do it? Do it. Roden's question is great.
So,
I gotta find it.
there's two questions. We'll go to Roden's first. It says, so the military is always looking on a new and improved rifle. Do you guys think our soldiers would be better served with better training?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think what's happening right now in the military, if you talk to people that are in the know, you find out that they're actually using the Marine Corps doctrine, believe it or not, in the Army. They're making every person back into a rifleman versus what they used to do. Used to be you would qual at 25 meters, or actually they changed it to 36 meters for a while there. And now they're actually making them go back to the range, use the irons, and use their optics to actually go 300 meters, 400 meters, 500 meters, and they're stopping at the 500 and 600 meters. Let's be honest, at the 5.56 at 600 meters, it's a dream to put someone down. You can, but you're going to hit them in the head. Would they do better with training or a better rifle? I think we're at the theoretical limit as far as better is. Until they come up with a new propellant, or they come up with a new way to make a cartridge, you got what you got, and that's what it is. And when I say that, there's a big push right now to find a new rifle, and they keep going back to the 6.8 and the 6.5, and they think that's better. Well, it has better terminal ballistics.
Oh no, it's better on paper.
But it's still limited to what it can do because of what it has to deal with. I mean, you have a limited case capacity. I think until we see polymer cases
or laser guns
or something entirely different that'll push it down, they're going to have. It's going to be training that fixes the issue.
Well, now even polymer cases. So there have been, I don't know, off the top of my head, 3 to 4 companies that have come out with reloadable polymer cases that were functional, but they never really got off the ground. Which I understand.
The Army has now contracted, and they're supposed to produce something like 1.5 to 4 million rounds of polymer cases for their new 6.8 that they're wanting to vet and test. The reason why that is just a weight savings. That's all they're looking at. If you can make, think about how many rounds you could carry if it weighed 5 pounds for 100 or 300 rounds.
Why did 5.56 take over the 30-06?
And that's exactly it.
That's exactly. They could carry 3 times the ammo at the same weight. That's why it took over. That's a part of it. I won't blanket that, but
and then that goes into Jason's question. He said, "Why have the Russians changed it to 5.45 to 7.62?"
Well, they haven't fully changed.
No, they have.
Yeah,
the Russians only use 5.45 domestically and when they go out. They do use 7.62 still pretty heavily in the Russian Federation,
but it's terminal
but their
ballistics.
field rifle that they're using right now is actually the AK-12, which is an improved AK-74 with a different rear sight. The 5.45, believe it or not, has better ballistics, terminal ballistics, than the 5.56, and that's why the Russians did it.
Yeah.
And the reason why they do have better terminal ballistics is even their steel-jacketed, steel-core bullet has a void in it, and it upsets and tumbles once it hits flesh.
Yes.
And once it hits soft stuff, it starts to do nasty things.
Which is, avoids Geneva if they're paying attention to it, which I know they don't, but it still does the damage. But it's kind of like a 22 does.
The thing is it doesn't really void it because it doesn't cause the bullet to shatter.
It doesn't cause the wound
the fragment. Yeah. It still does the bad stuff that we don't want it to do.
Right.
But the bullet doesn't fragment. It uses its yaw to spin, and what happens is the bullet, if you